I mean, I can make this historically relevant to public policy.
You're listening to Trigger Warnings, Challenging Talk Radio. Challenging Talk Radio for the new millennium. The new millennium. We are on show...
Millennium, I knew him well, yeah.
That's right. Show number 21 here. Show number 21, Trigger Warnings. I am Chris Smith. I am here in the high desert. And John...
And I am not Chris Smith. And I am here at sea level in the capital of American carnage, and soon to be, if the reports from Washington are accurate this week, the home of Medicaid welfare chief as well.
Medicaid welfare what?
Welfare chief. Medicaid welfare queen. Because the meeting at the White House yesterday between Trump and the conservative Republicans supposedly ended in agreement that the health care bill would be amended to make sure that anybody on Medicaid expansion is working. And in reality, people who are on Medicaid expansion are the working poor. So we're going to make white people work to make America great again. I think it's fantastic.
Make white people work to make America great again?
White people, the working poor, the ones
No, they didn't specify white people. Are you telling me that?
They specified the people who are on health care on the Affordable Care Act through Medicaid expansion. Those are working poor. The people who aren't working already have Medicaid. Medicaid expansion, by definition, covers people up to 138% of the poverty line. Those are the working poor. Those are overwhelmingly white people. Thank you. Yeah, I got down and dirty and serious right off the bat.
Yes, you did. And you know what? I said this before on one of these programs. It is taking a stronger and stronger stomach. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically, scholarly. One must have such a background that it takes a strong stomach in every way that phrase can mean. And John, you have my respect that you can launch into clear understanding so off the bat that my head was spinning anyway. My
gastrointestinal tract is full of fortitude.
I'm glad, because this program requires it. We've been at this for months now. We've been at this since before Donna Brazile was even a chairperson. We've been at this since, October? Definitely pre-election. No.
Long pre-election. Yeah.
So, and on this program, we always take on a couple different news articles that one of us has dug up, and then there's a giant quiz. In which I ask John some pretty good questions. This week, John, this week we challenge what is truth, and no one can win, as we're learning day by day. So, yes.
And I understand that our guest trivia host or honorary trivia host is the one and only Kobe Buffalo Meat. Is that correct?
Oh, my goodness. We launch into the first thing you bring to the table, which is this name of the year bracket, the March Madness phenomenon. We all care.
This is a creation of Deadspin.
Can I sound any more non-interested? We all care, yes. Now, wait, Buzzspin, Buzzspin?
No, Deadspin.
Deadspin.
See? This is a Deadspin has invoked, I believe this is the third year, running the name of the year bracket. So it is a takeoff on the NCAA basketball tournament, and it's $10 billion a year, almost all of it illegal, including by me betting. Do you know, by the way, that the NCAA basketball tournament, the amount of money wagered on that is more than double the money wagered on the Super Bowl?
Oh, I believe it.
But we think, isn't that interesting? Super Bowl is about $4.5 billion. The NCAA basketball tournament is $10 billion, almost all of it illegal in office pools and, friendly things like people like me participate in. So as a takeoff on this, Deadspin has the name of the year bracket where it goes round by round. It seeds the 64 names in 16 brackets. So it ranks those names it believes should be the best.
Wait a minute. Before you launch into the names, I like that Super.
Yeah, I'm not launching into the names.
Hold on. Super Bowl versus March Madness. Why would people bet on one way more than they would bet on the other? I can tell you.
Well, I think because March Madness, the Super Bowl, all you can do is pick a team and pick the points. It's between two teams. What makes March Madness, I think, a sign of America's once and hopefully future greatness is that it truly is a national tournament. It is teams from all over the country are in, and they're always the big guys who seem to win every year. But then they're always Cinderellas, and that's what they're called. Teams that are that you haven't heard of, or they're from some school that's named after somebody who used to be famous, but you don't know who it is, Sam Houston State or whatever. And every year, especially in the first round or two, somebody you've never heard of does a David and Goliath and upsets a main. So, it's very democratic.
Right. And I think the stakes are different. And
stakes are different, and it's week to week, and there are more games.
One could truly be fake news right from the beginning. And I guess March Madness, it's just too complicated and involves too many different factors to be fake news. But if you wanted to throw the Super Bowl, you could, right? In the name of national security?
I think given what has happened all month, and it's only the 18th of March, but especially what happened yesterday, I think we have to change the name of what we call the NCAA tournament, because March Madness is now going to be what Andrea Merkel was talking about on the plane ride back yesterday. But nonetheless...
Oh, my goodness. Do you really think it was that bad? Do you think it was that bad, that non-handshake or the handshake? Or
it wasn't only the non-handshake. It was the President of the United States' refusal to declare a liar, an apology to German media, making her look bad. Apparently, the entire people on the constitutional line of succession for the presidency, from the president to vice president to speaker of the House, pissed off Ireland in the morning, which really didn't get widely covered, but Mike Pence, who has Irish roots, greeted the Prime Minister of Ireland by saying "top of the morning," which apparently Irish people don't say. Only fake Irish Americans say "top of the morning." So that apparently angered a lot of Irish people. And then Trump himself gave a toast, or he used what he invoked as an Irish proverb that it turns out was lifted word for word from a Nigerian poet.
What? John, stop. Just stop. You're making this.
Yeah.
You're making this
Yeah.
up, dude. No, you're Nigerian poet. It was St. Patty's Day. Top of the morning. What? You can't.
Nope.
This is not real. I'm not.
The real Irish people do not say "top of the morning." It is like calling Chili's Mexican food to say "top of the morning" to a real Irishman. Chili's is not Mexican food. It has its merits, but it's not Mexican food.
I don't even know what to say. Let's move on to this name bracket. So
you should know what to say.
Yes,
because
what?
Yes, yesterday was a disaster, and just this morning, the president has told the group of 21 that he doesn't support free trade, And that is another. So we are just spiraling downhill. So we might as well talk about the name of the year and go home and have sex public policy, which is what we're going to do.
All right. So Buzz Spin? No, Dead
So
Spin.
Dead Spin.
I don't know. I don't know. And it's a whole lot of names, and we're gonna whittle it down immediately to our final four.
We are each going to pick the four our hoped for winner in each region. So would you like to go first in the Voltron Regional?
Sure.
Which of those entrants would you like to see?
You know what? I didn't pick any of them. Let me. Rushmore Cervantes. That's lovely. So and these are very funny names. It's very interesting that some of these names have cultural references and some are much more like concrete than others. Okay, your pick.
These are real people, by the way.
No, they're not.
No, they are. They are real people.
John, stop. This program is the fakest program we have ever done.
No, it isn't. It is real. These are real names. These are names submitted by readers from all over the world to Deadspin for the name of the year. Now, these are actually real people. Many of them are college athletes. No, these are all real. Kobe Buffalo Meat is a college basketball player.
Yeah, I read the article, and in this day and age, I glossed over it, taking it to be some sort of complicated satire, ha-ha, that strikes a certain audience.
No, it is not. No, the only thing that is satirical is the bracketing. The names are real, and they have not been...
Therefore, the bracketing is actually not satirical, but in fact real.
Deadspin has taken these 64 names, divided into groups of 16, and said in each of these regions, we have seeded them by what we think the number 1 to 16 best names are. You, the reader, you, the site user, will vote and decide round by round.
What's a fake name that you have used in a context in your life?
I have never used a fake name, though I have had many nicknames. I have been called Roscoe, there's a long line from my last name, and I've been called Jake by a guy I met in Chicago who just liked calling people Jake. By the way, opposite your Rushmore Cervantes, which I think has great historical relevance.
Yeah.
I think I like that one. That would be maybe near the finals for me. I just like the name Guy Hand. I am hoping for Guy Hand to come from a low seed to win that bracket.
All right, so on to the next bracket, the opposite. How about the Dragon Wagon Regional?
The Dragon Wagon Regional, I think, is the weakest of the four, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
And in this one, I have to go with the favorite. In this case, I think the number 1 seed, Chardonnay Fantastico, should make it to the Final Four. I think that would be appropriate. What do you think?
I went with number 7, Cash Masters. I thought that was a great
Cash Masters is good. Cash Masters has a Guy Hand.
Now wait, why these regions? Are the region names fake? I'm saying the Dragon Wagon Regional as if it's like a real thing, which it is.
I don't know
these
why
are real
they're called.
people.
I don't know why it's called the Voltron Regional. That one I don't get, but they explain in the article. It doesn't make much sense to me. But no, they are broken into 16.
We just hit upon something. I think we can agree. It didn't make much sense to me either. However, these are real people. Okay, how about the? I think
the regionals are named for past winners, as I recall. That Sithole, the third region, the Sithole Regional, is named for someone called Sithole, so to speak.
Okay, and
I think in the yes.
My pick in the Sithole Regional was Subu Dubi, which is really close to Subaru.
Subu Dubi has a son who has his same name, whose name is Subudubidu. But
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I think we went to school with Dr. Prospero Gogo. That sounds very familiar to me. What was your pick in that region?
Well, this I think is the strongest regional because it has a person named Sithole in the Sithole regional, Fortunate Sithole. It also has somebody I'd like to meet, Heavenly Joy Jerkin. And it has somebody named Bumper Pool. And even the top seed, Marmaduke Treblecock, which is a name right out of a Monty Python sketch, falls short of my pick, the clear pick. And my pick for the whole thing is Faraj Fardan. I don't think you can outdo Faraj Fardan, and I wouldn't want to try.
I would have to concur. And then the final regional, it's the Crotchtangle Regional.
The Crotchtangle Regional.
And there were some very good names here. At first I thought Taco Dibbits was my favorite, but then
Taco Dibbits is a good name. Yeah,
the name Harmony Excellent. That's where I think we need to be at. I like that.
Really? See,
yeah.
So you and I are going to be looking very closely at the first round matchup because the winner of our first round matchup, at least to us, should be the winner of this region. Harmony Excellent's first round opponent is Aphrodite Bodycomb. And
that's a good name. That's a good name.
I think Aphrodite, and then the winner could face Taco Dibbit. So there is another. I mean, there are some really clever names in this one, like Dallas Creamer, which sounds like something you'd put in Texas coffee. I also like Tina Touch and Bird Love God and Boats. Boats is pretty good, too. But I think Aphrodite Bodycomb should be there. Yet I don't think any of them will come close to Faraj Fardan.
That would be your
I don't know about
major
you.
winner?
I don't know about you, but I am going to participate. But according to this article, and this is Chicago.
Oh, Deadspin is based in Chicago? No.
No, but the person in this article who is the top seed, Kobe Buffalo Meat, is an Illinois State University football player. And apparently Kobe Buffalo Meat's story was published in our local newspaper, the Chicago Tribune. So,
well, there we go. What a scene. Deadspin.com. Deadspin.com. Did I get that right finally?
It is Deadspin.com. And I'm going to fill out my bracket. That's what she said.
You can actually participate, and there will be a winner.
Yes, there is a winner. And it's all done it's all a democratic vote. It's kind of like, voting people off the island or off the bracket. No, I think this is a very important thing that we should be doing while the world is going absolutely down the tubes. Well, shall we move on?
I mean, I'm all for absurdism, but, if you had to pick between absurdism, as these names represent, and sex...
Oh, well, it would be a tough one.
It would be a tough one for you? Really?
Well, I know, and you know why I picked this one. I think it's very important getting back to the generally serious and radically empathic nature of this show. I picked a story that is unique to Sweden because Sweden has gotten some bad press lately, directly from the President of the United States, for something that didn't even happen. And I think Sweden needs good press from something that hasn't happened yet, but we would all like to be part of. And that's my toss over to you to describe.
Yeah. February 24, 2017, headline: CBS News. Could lunch hour sex boost employee morale? Swedish politician says yes. A politician in northern Sweden wants to list sex as an officially approved activity for civil servants during their daily paid lunch break, saying it could have
It certainly puts it certainly puts a twist on the term civil servant.
I know. Exactly. The person's first name is Per-Erik Muskos.
Per-Erik Muskos.
Per-Erik Muskos of the City Council of Overtornia on the Arctic Circle says he made a serious and formal proposal Monday to add sex to the list of acceptable lunchtime activities, which also include going to the gym, getting a massage, and eating. He said Friday that benefits could include improving employee morale, and increasing the population of the town of about 4,500. Muskos said the municipality's 550 employees are now assessing his proposal before it is discussed in the city council in a few months. The 42-year-old lawmaker said negative reactions to his proposal came chiefly from, quote, some elderly employees who find it embarrassing to talk about what happens in the bedroom. Thank you, Associated Press. So from the Arctic Circle, a city council member is rallying that there's already a paid lunch break for civil servants. That on that paid lunch break...
there should be.
No, there is a paid lunch break. They get paid to have lunch, and during that lunch break, there's a list of things they can do besides lunch. That includes going to the gym, getting a massage, and eating. He wants to add to that list having sex.
Well, and so I think there are a couple of issues here, and just basic math. This is a town of 4,500 people. 550 of them work for the town. I mean, how does a town of 4,500 people need 550 municipal employees? That's like, what are they doing?
Not much.
Obviously, other than on their lunch break. I'm also intrigued by the name of this village, because if Mr. Muskos gets his wishes, for at least an hour a day in this small village in the Arctic Circle, we will have lots of sexual overtornias. So there's a bigger issue here, pardon the pun, or the double entendre, is that Scandinavia, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, I don't know as much about Finland, these countries have a couple of things going for them. One is that they are relatively free. They don't have a lot of immigrants. They don't have a lot of outsiders. There's
not a lot of people that want to be moving to the Arctic Circle? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, a third of most of the Swedish landmass is above the Arctic Circle. But most of the population is not. So, but it's that there's not a lot of in-migration to Sweden, Denmark, Norway. So therefore, the native population is relatively flat. The birth rates are very low. Birth rates tend to be very low when everybody is kind of in the middle class. There's no need for people to have a lot of children if they have good wages, disposable income, good services. Sweden and Denmark, and Sweden is famous for this, are noted for their outstanding social services policies. Basically everything cradle to grave, 14 weeks of parental leave, paid, and all that stuff. And in order to support and continue to support this social services and this rather large social services net, especially because part of this means people live much longer there. I mean, the lifespan in the Nordic countries is the highest in the world. You need more workers producing taxes to pay for and support this network of social services that is expanding and needs to stay afloat longer because people are living longer. And so the idea of increasing the population as a national interest is very, very important. So while you and I might look at this with some degree of levity and cackling, what it does get to in the bigger picture is a very serious public policy concern in these countries that have outstanding social services, public welfare programs, almost no poverty as a result, and very long lifespans. So they have to find creative ways to produce more Swedes or Norwegians or whatever. So this, I think, is a very interesting idea. I'm not sure why sex has to be endorsed as an acceptable lunchtime activity. And I don't know whether Mr. Muskos wants to make sex part of the lunch break approved among civil servants with each other, because there are a lot of them apparently in this little town, or whether it's just fine to have sex with your spouse or whatever. So there are some serious public policy issues with this. This is not all titter-worthy.
No, absolutely not. There's
it is not titter-worthy.
There's the paid lunch break notion, which is worth addressing. There's the sex with coworkers notion, because
which is implied.
Which is implied, but then again, we're talking about a really small town on the Arctic Circle. I can imagine we're already a bit huddling for warmth. But then again, where does the sex take place? At the workplace? I'm trying to think if I've ever had a job that specifically dictated a lunch period that was paid. Or was it eat when you can, you know?
It means that if you have an 8-hour workday, if you're there from 9 to 5, you are supposed to be at your desk for 7 hours, and an hour is a lunch break. It's not that the lunch break. It's not that you're paid for taking a lunch break. But a lunch break is part of your paid workday. No, that's all it is.
Well,
I think the potential for this is just astronomical.
Certainly.
Because talk about how most Americans, we are hardworking workaholic people. In America, if people take lunch breaks, they're eating at their desk, and just think the potential of what that might mean if workaholics who eat at their desk just adopted this Swedish mindset.
Do they already? Is it not being reported on CBS News? Sex in the workplace. This one story from the Arctic Circle leaves me feeling less informed than.
I know. You know what it is? I think this has been a policy and practice in many American workplaces, but it hasn't been formalized and recommended. I think this was very much going on, having with sex an approved or at least de facto expected lunchtime activity in the Clinton White House. I think that was pretty well known. I just don't think they made it a universal entitlement, so to speak. And we are in the age of entitlement. What if this were folded into, say, the healthcare bill? Like, could you get
my goodness? Where are you going? Let me reel you in. The small community on the Arctic Circle, a city council person. But yes, certainly more sex is needed. People should be having more sex. Republicans should find themselves more comfortable with sex than they probably do. I think most of them are characterized best by the quote in the article, some elderly employees who found it embarrassing to talk about what happens in the bedroom. That's still dictating national healthcare policy to such an extent that it's becoming glaringly obvious that some, quote, conservatives are so conservative that they can't come to terms with their own bodies south of their waist. It's incredible.
No, I don't. I disagree. I think that many conservatives are very comfortable with their own sex, but uncomfortable with other people's sex. I think that's the problem here, and that's why, as a piece of public policy, I think this has great potential.
As a transcendentalist, I would say become comfortable with your own body, and others' bodies will no longer be an issue to you.
Oh, well, now you're getting dark and deep.
Well, I'm just glad that we haven't ended up talking about the opiate crisis this program, and I'm sure the audience is too. I know. I gotta say, I wonder how this very small community on the Arctic Circle deals with that. If there is the presence of that kind of crisis, and maybe no, there can't be. Not if we've got a paid lunch break where we can go to the gym, get a massage, and eat. And have sex. No thanks. I'd rather sit here with my ham sandwich. No one's going to say that. No one's going to say that anymore. In the town of Overtornia on the Arctic Circle. It's fascinating. I mean, I don't think this is fake. But I don't know if even that city council is going to allow this to be listed as an approved activity. Do you?
I don't know why they. See, the thing is, I think there's some other. He's got something up his political sleeve, because why do they have to have a list of approved lunch break activity? It's your hour. You've earned it.
Well, no, it's a paid hour. If it's an unpaid hour, then that's...
No, it's a lunch break. It's a lunch break. It's part of your workday. It's a lunch break. You get an hour. It's like any other office where you're supposed to have a lunch break. So why does there have to be an approved list of things that... I mean, see, I think...
In the name of radical empathy, John, I'm going to ask you, and you don't have to answer, but have you ever had sex in a lunch break?
I've had sex in a lunchroom. Does that count?
Sure. That's close enough. It's close to being the same compound word.
Actually, we called. Actually, there was a bunch of us having sex at the lunch break where I worked, and at the lunchroom where we worked, and we called ourselves the Lunch Munch Bunch. Does that have anything to do with it? No,
that's very nice.
but seriously, no. But I think I figured something out. A town of 4,500 people with 550 municipal employees. That's a large ratio of...
It's incredible. Do you think that plays into this whole sex in the workplace? Okay.
I figured this out, what many of those 550 municipal employees are doing. They are paid, while others are on break, they are paid to monitor whether the people who are on break are doing town-approved lunch break activities.
Yeah, I mean, where's the enforcement going to be?
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's why they have 550 municipal employees. You've got to have people, and of course they work on different rotations, because they take their break when other people are working, right? There has to be a Department of Lunchtime Approved Activities enforcement, because otherwise it would make no sense to have so many people working on the taxpayer dime, or I'm sorry, kroner, of this town. Because while let's say the average municipal employee, let's say 400 of them, they take their hour at roughly the same time of the day, roughly at 11:30, 12 o'clock. The other 50 or 100, however many there are who aren't on lunch break, they are the ones monitoring whether the other municipal employees are doing approved lunch break activity. So they're at all the gyms in town. They're at restaurants. They'll be at the little motels to monitor whether sex is going on. And they may have to hire more people if you're only allowed to have approved sex during the approved time with approved people, because maybe they don't want you having sex with somebody in the same department. There probably are ethics laws or ethics policies in place that say with whom you may not have sex in the office, whether it's on lunch break or not. What do you think?
Yes. It sounds like this is the America the liberals want. Isn't that the phrase? Have you seen that meme? I say that in all care.
don't. I think this would be.
It sounds like a big government dream, honestly. I mean,
It's a big government victory. There's no question, and I'm all for it.
Well, you are also living in the heart of American carnage, so I understand.
And by the way, just
Yes.
to get back to Scandinavian procreation, alongside this, I did send you, and I'm very hurt that you did not watch this and trust my judgment. There is it is the best advertising campaign I have ever seen anywhere that I shared with you alongside this, and it is by a Danish travel agency called something Spies, spelled spies, but it's
Wonderful.
Danish.
Okay.
And because Denmark, by the way, year in, year out, according to, I believe Pew does this survey, Denmark has the happiest people in the world, year in and year out. Denmark, everything is taken care of. They have good roads, good transportation, great social welfare programs, et cetera. But, of course, Denmark, like other Scandinavian countries, has a increasing shortage of workers to dependents as people get older, and so Denmark needs more Danes. So this travel agency has done this incredible campaign called Do It for Denmark, where it has cited government statistics and uses real experts, academic scholars, not actors, to say, well, we really do need more Danes to support our standard of living and to support our old people. We need more Danes, and it's a travel agency which has instituted a campaign for Danes to go on holiday because it cites statistics, and I have no doubt that these statistics are accurate, that when people go on vacation, they have more sex, which leads to more pregnancies, which leads to more people, Danes in this case. And so they have a whole campaign where if you can actually get pregnant on a holiday that this travel company books, you'll be qualified for up to 3 years of baby stuff, diapers and all that other stuff. It's a brilliant campaign, and to show how American exceptionalism and Anglo exceptionalism is so potent, so to speak. The tagline, spoken by real Danes in this commercial, is "Do it for Denmark." That's not how you say "Do it for Denmark" in Danish, yet that's the campaign. So this is a real demographics are power. And this is a real issue in this part of the world, something we here in America should take more seriously.
What do you mean by that?
Okay.
By seriously?
That they seem to know what's important.
If you had to pick another country to live in, based on its public policy and how it treats its citizens, which country would that be?
I'd live in Sweden, wouldn't you?
I think so.
There you go. I don't even know how to say hello in Sweden.
Do you know how to say hello in Russian?
No, but I'm going to need to soon.
We all are. We all are. Okay. Well,
I think hello in Russian is "Konyeshna." I believe that's it, comrade.
Okay, Roscoe.
Hey, we're moving on. See, I don't think you're comfortable with these discussions. Are you inhibited from having discussions
sex at the workplace on the clock?
No.
Are you surprised that I'm not more emphatic about people having sex at the workplace on the clock? I mean, I don't know many people that get a paid lunch break. And I know a lot of people that if they had a paid lunch break and they were given the liberty to leave the premises and or do other stuff in that hour, they might try to go get another job for 60 minutes. So I mean, yes, absolutely. Sex is good for society. And a town in the Arctic Circle, I think that's a great idea. Go to the gym.
And so I think this is a serious public policy issue as well as a serious leisure time issue. And I guess that's where we divert.
Well, no, we don't divert. America's relationship to sex is psychological. And it is by and large repressed still today, I think. I mean, some pockets of the country aren't. Some pockets of the country are. Some pockets of the country are, and conditions surrounding them are starting to grind their gears. That is, they can't feel okay about how they feel about their own bodies or themselves as sexual creatures. I fear that kind of tension. I really do. And I think that psychological relationship to oneself as a sexual animal, it's kind of an evolved thing to go for that. And props to this, town in Sweden for pushing that. But, I mean, around here, I don't think we're there yet, sexually, as a culture.
Well, no, probably.
Lady Gaga flying from the ceiling after singing This Land Is Your Land, does that help? It doesn't hurt. Lady Gaga wearing a meat dress, does that help? Does it hurt? All right, that's my take. So I think we're on the same page, but I see a deeper psychological level where the culture has to promote sexuality. And oh wait, who do we have as a leader? And what has he said? And how has that changed what we think about sex in this culture? That scares the shit out of me. What that man has said and how we all, to some extent or another, some actively, some passively, look the other way. Continue to. Have to. We have no choice in the matter but to ignore the reprehensible statements he has made sexually. The idea that locker room talk does exist, can exist. It happened and is dismissible because that label apparently carries that weight. That's very old school. That's a very, very old school situation that I could weep that we find ourselves pushing up against that. So I don't think I put this town on my list of places I may flee to. All right, I'm in.
I'm there. I'm there with you.
Do they have a college?
I don't know.
Can we start one?
Maybe there's Overtornia U.
Oh, now there's a name. Put that one Overtornia U.
You didn't catch that from the beginning. That's why I said there are sexual overtorns in this town. You missed that one.
I didn't. You're listening to Trigger Warnings. You didn't miss that one either. This is Challenging Talk Radio with radical empathy at its core. John,
especially we have radical empathy for Swedes.
Yes. I mean, I want to bump it up. I want to say compassionate conservatism or conservative compassionism. But instead of those things, I'm not going to mumble that. I'm going to read you the quiz. John, are you ready?
Oh, I cannot wait.
20 questions this week, and the first one. Who said this week? Quote, "We're not animals. We're not beasts of burden. We want time with our families. We want leisure activities." Was that A, Rachel Maddow, B, Bernie Sanders, C, Bill Maher, or D, Nancy Pelosi?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Now, it's possible, as you have done in
No. This quiz, if fake is an option, you will always have the option of fake.
So that means it's possible that none of these is correct. None of these is accurate.
As in life, if fake is an option, you will be presented with the option of fake.
Well, my guess is that if anybody said this, it's Grandpa Bernie. But I'm always offering none of the above.
No, you are correct. It is Bernie Sanders speaking at my college, Vermont Tech, vtc.edu.
Wow.
Yes, check it out. He was there on St. Paddy's Day. The next
Do you know how I got that? Do you know how I knew that answer?
How?
I got it from British intelligence.
Oh, you did? And a statement
I
has
did.
just been issued saying that that is not the case. Look, the next 5 questions, you're going to get a quote from Bernie that was spoken yesterday in front of my students, and you're going to get options on that quote. So number 2, quote, since 2000, we have seen a 10-fold increase in billionaires. Is that A, true, B, false, C, fake news, or D, none of the above?
Well, wait a minute. It has to be true or false. It can't be neither. And if it's false, it could be fake news, but it can't be none of the above. So I may protest answering this question because I don't think it's a lose-lose for me.
Well, the answer is true. Number 3, this is a question that Bernie posed yesterday, and then you'll have answers to that question. Quote, why are we punishing people for getting the education that they need and our country needs? A, because we can. B, because there's money to be made. C, because greed is good. Or D, none of the above.
Yeah, it's none of the above. It has something to do with keeping out people who are educated from those countries. So the answer is none of the above. You can't fool me.
On the president's blueprint budget, Bernie said, quote, in almost every respect, it is a bad proposal. Would you respond, A, it all depends on what your definition of is. B, it all depends on what your definition of proposal is. C, it all depends on the subjective adjective bad. Or D, RESPECT, find out what it means to me.
Yes, I think they're all of them could be the right answer. And
These are tough, dude. These are really tough.
They all are the right answer, but I think it depends on your definition of the subjective bad.
I like that. I like that. How about number 4? Quote, yes, we can transform our energy system. Is that A, true, B, false, C, fake, or D, none of the above?
Well, it's a question of can. So therefore it must, because it's a subjunctive, must always be the potential of having truth. So the answer is yes, A.
There's only one more of these Bernie quote
Thank
analysis
God. Yes.
questions. All right, and it's actually it doesn't deal with the language as much as those other ones. Those were rough. Quote, on almost every issue, the American people support a progressive agenda. That's a Bernie quote from yesterday. On almost every issue, the American people support a progressive agenda. What issue do you think he is excluding? Is it A, abortion, B, gun rights, C, transgender rights, or D, none of the above?
You mean that I think he's excluding, or that he is intentionally excluding?
Well, he didn't elaborate. And in fact, he said the American people support a progressive agenda, and as I recall, then he corrected himself, said on almost every issue, the American people support. So what is that issue that he wanted to make an exemption for?
Well, I guess you could argue that, well, it depends on what your issue of gun rights is, because I would say it's none of the above.
Okay, I don't have a correct answer to that. Okay, those are over. We are done with the Bernie analysis. But okay, which of these is not a real tweet from the rogue POTUS staff account? Oh, these are fun. A, With each passing day, this place is atomizing. We are devolving into barely connected individual parts in random motion. B. POTUS leaked his own taxes, and all his staff got was renewed grief trying to prevent us from leaking. C. Like we said last week, Maddow is in the business of telling you what you want to hear for $8 million a year. Or D. POTUS licking his wounds as it sinks in that his wiretap claim went too far, trying to hide it, but he's moping, embarrassed. Which of those is not a real tweet from the rogue POTUS staff account?
And so are we to believe that there is somebody in the White House who is tweeting as the rogue, kind of the whistleblower?
Yeah, I mean, the rogue POTUS staff account has been active since Inauguration Week, and it's been pretty consistent, and it's revealed stuff that would prove to be true. So if you believe it, which of these tweets did not come from that account this week?
Wow. So I'm not looking for that tweet. I am just noticing that there is such a thing. I think the answer is the one about Maddow.
Actually, all of them. All of them are real tweets from the rogue POTUS staff account. Do check that out. Next question. On June 12th, 2016, Time Magazine ran an article about Donald Trump's tax returns, including citing some of his deductions from 2007. Where did they get their information? Was it A, another news organization that was unnamed? B, an unnamed source? Is this C, mildly fake? Or D, totally fake?
The article from 2016?
Yeah.
Well, it had been sent to somebody at the New York Times, so it was another news, or the Washington Post. I forget which one.
No, I'm sorry. This is totally made up. They ran no such article. There was no listing of his deductions from 2007. It is D, totally fake. Number 8, according to Time Magazine's website, what year did the Supreme Court establish the constitutionality of wiretapping? 1925, 26, 27, or 28?
This is fake news. That is not happening.
The answer is A, 1928. I'm not saying that the Supreme Court established the constitutionality of wiretapping, but I'm telling you the Time Magazine's website tells you they did. According to Breitbart.com, which of these is a quote from our great leader praising Rosie the Riveter this week in his weekly radio address? A, Rosie the Riveter and Andrew Jackson represent the best this country has to offer. The American people should sit up and take notice. B, if Americans unite and find again within our nation the soul of Rosie and the spirit of Jackson, I have no doubt that we can do it, and do it like never before. C, if Americans unite and fight again, like Rosie the Riveter fought for her country during hard times, anything is possible. Or D, grab them by the rivets.
Now, the question is, which of these did he actually say?
Which is an actual quote from his weekly radio address praising Rosie the Riveter, according to Breitbart.com.
Okay. Again, all of these questions sound like fake news. However, I do know that there was something this week where they appropriated or expropriated Andrew Jackson in a way that some people found offensive. So I'm going to say it's the Andrew Jackson one.
Well, wait, you have two quotes that relate directly to Rosie the Riveter and Andrew Jackson. Is it this one? If Americans unite again and find within our nation the soul of Rosie and the spirit of Jackson, I have no doubt that we can do it, and do it like never before. Or is it this quote? Rosie the Riveter and Andrew Jackson represent the best this country has to offer. The American people should sit up and take notice.
It's the first one.
It is the first one. Nice work. Nice work. Let's do it, and do it like never before. Question 10. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, none of the above?
It depends. It's none of the above because it depends on what your definition of road is.
Number 11, how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Is it A, 1 ear, B, 2 ears, or C, 3 ears?
If the ears are corn and you hold them up to the ear hole, you only need 1.
That's very nice.
That is correct.
So it's A or B. It's 1 or 2. According to the book American Privacy, The 400-Year History of Our Most Contested Right by Frederick Lane, how many presidents had the opportunity to appoint 4 Supreme Court justices in a single term? Was it A, 5, B, 3, C, 2, or D, 8?
4 justices in one 4-year term.
Yeah! Isn't that awesome?
I think the answer is none.
No, the answer is 5. Again, according to the book American Privacy, The 400-Year History of Our Most Contested Right, would you like to hear those 5 as cited in that book?
Sure.
Washington, Taft, Harding, Franklin Roosevelt, and Nixon.
But not during a 4-year term, maybe during his term in office. But that's not a 4-year term. I asked 4 years, you said,
Appoint 4 Supreme Court justices in a single term is what the question says.
Okay.
So perhaps the question is bad. Maybe it's fake.
It's a fake question.
It's a fake question. All right, maybe this one's not. Who coined the phrase, quote, confirmation conversion? Was it A, Bernie Sanders, B, Pat Leahy, C, Chuck Grassley, D, Justice Rehnquist, or E, Judge Reinhold? My God.
Oh, definitely Judge Reinhold.
Confirmation conversion.
Yeah.
You think it's just... No, it was Pat Leahy. It was Pat Leahy.
Right.
During whose confirmation...
Choice,
do you know whose confirmation hearing he said that in?
He said it this week at the hearing for Judge Gorsuch.
No, he said it during the confirmation hearing of Justice Bork. I didn't give you the choices, but RBG was one of them.
But he wasn't a choice, Pat Leahy. So
no, I said that. Who coined the phrase confirmation conversion? And it was Sanders, Leahy, Grassley, Rehnquist, or Reinhold. And you got distracted by the popular 80s actor Judge Reinhold.
Okay.
Noted CNN contributor and mainline Pennsylvania busybody Michael Smerconish was asked by a caller this week if he believed we have, quote, a functioning democracy. What was Smerconish's answer? A, yes. B, no. C, barely. D, fake.
Barely.
Yes.
Barely.
And
by the way.
Yes.
Wait. I must interject. According to the Rogue POTUS staff Twitter, on March 8th, Sean Spicer, obviously under his breath or in his own little circle or cohort, said, quote, I wish he'd have an affair. That'd be better than defending the stupid shit, he says in Twitter.
I am really glad that you are now turned on to the Rogue POTUS staff account. Whether it's real or fake, true or false, it is wildly entertaining. And, I mean, I can't imagine someone is inventing these things. Anyway, you have a few more questions. Only a few. Howard Stern mentioned this week that he gets 3 newspapers delivered daily to his residence. What 3 papers did he name? Was it the New York Times, New York Post, New York Daily News? New York Times, Washington Post, or New York Daily News? New York Times, LA Times, and The Sun, or D, fake?
Fake.
No. New York Times, New York Post, and New York Daily News. Howard said that reading all of the headlines about Trump made him do what? A, watch a movie with his wife. B, go to the bathroom. C, go to Nobu, his favorite restaurant. Or D, cry.
Bathroom.
No, watch a movie with his wife.
Where he-
In 2007, Bob Dylan was invited to the George Bush White House, but he declined, sending a letter to W with 1 word on it. What was that word? A, hope, B, love, C, peace, or D, fake?
What was the third one?
Peace.
Fake.
Huh?
Fake.
Do you mean the story is fake or the word on the piece of paper was fake?
Oh, you're suggesting the word fake was on the...
I don't know what you mean.
My answer is it didn't happen.
That's correct. It didn't happen. 19. Andrew Sullivan told Bill Maher last night that the Democrats' problem is that A, they are wimps, B, they are unwilling to face reality, C, they are surrounded by a giant cloud of smug, or D, none of the above.
He probably said all of them.
No, giant cloud of smug. And finally, the final question on this. This was a really hard quiz. Who hosted the first Saturday Night Live ever? Was it A, Steve Martin, B, George Carlin, C, John Belushi, or D, Chevy Chase?
It was Chevy Chase.
It was not. It was George Carlin.
It was Chevy Chase dressed as George Carlin.
That's a great answer. I say that's E, fake. John, as always, a great program. We covered it all.
I don't know about you, but it's 10 minutes to 1 here. It's lunchtime. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, Roscoe's got plans. I'm going to keep practicing this banjo, folks, and we'll be back next time. What will we cover next time, John? Give them a preview.
It could be World War III, could be the death of another Korean expatriate by Ready Whip, or somebody dying because of somebody talking too much about opioid abuse. Who knows?
All right, whatever it is, we'll see you then, folks. Y'all take care.